Things kick off with some major suspense as a mysterious character finds a locked door, convinced someone is hiding inside. After failing to get a response, the tension ramps up, setting a super ominous vibe. It feels like the start of a thriller movie, leaving you wondering who's in there and why they're silent. Suddenly, we're in a dreamscape, and our protagonist, Date, is face to face with a glowing, shrimp-like AI. She introduces herself as his alter ego, explaining that their consciousnesses are linked. It's a total mind bend, establishing the surreal, tech-infused world of the story right from the jump. The AI, Aiba, initiates a Somnium scan, diving into Date's dream world to find mental locks. She explains that these locks are like foundational blocks of his subconscious that need to be broken to uncover hidden truths. Back in the real world, Date, a detective with the MPD, is questioning a woman named Mayumi Matsushita, the mother of a person of interest, Ota. The scene is immediately tense, especially when he has to ask her to put down a kitchen knife. The knife itself has a sentimental backstory, a Mother's Day gift from her son. Aiba drops some intel on Date about a popular musician named Aset, who might be connected to the case. The investigation leads them to her talent agency, Lemniska, which is owned by a man named Renju. The plot thickens as these seemingly random threads start connecting in unexpected ways. Date has a strange reaction to a girl named Tisa, with Aiba noting his adrenaline levels are spiking. It's a low-key hint that there's more to his past and his connection to the people in this case than we initially see. The mystery isn't just about the crime, but about Date himself. In a moment of unexpected physical comedy, Date ends up giving a young woman a piggyback ride home. The interaction is kinda awkward, but also sweet, revealing a softer side to his otherwise serious detective persona. He even guesses her weight, which is both impressive and a little weird. Date meets a woman named Hitomi, who is Iris's mother. It's another piece of the puzzle falling into place, connecting more characters to the central mystery. The social web gets more tangled as Date navigates these relationships, trying to find a lead while keeping his cool. Date finds a young girl named Mizuki at the office, apparently unable to speak due to trauma. The plan is to sync with her, dive into her subconscious dream world to find answers. This sets up the next major exploration of the Somnium, promising to reveal what she witnessed. Inside Mizuki's Somnium, the world is dark and unsettling, featuring a birdcage and lightning, symbolizing her trapped mental state. Aiba introduces a new feature that allows them to stop time while standing still, giving Date a strategic advantage to explore the dreamscape without the usual time pressure. After a successful sync, Date manages to unlock Mizuki's ability to speak again. The experience is clearly draining, but it's a huge breakthrough in the case. By navigating her dream, he's not only found clues, but also helped her begin to heal from her traumatic experience. A new murder victim is discovered, and it's Renju, the owner of the talent agency. The case is officially a serial killing investigation, and the pressure is on. Date is on the scene, looking exhausted but determined to piece together how all these deaths are connected to one another. Date takes Mizuki to a shady bar called Marble, a spot known for information gathering. He explains it's a place to find all sorts of characters, making it perfect for digging up dirt on a case. It's a glimpse into his detective methods, showing he's not afraid to bend the rules to get answers. Things get wild when a confrontation with some Yakuza thugs escalates into a full-blown shootout. Aiba uses a porno mag as a distraction, knowing it speeds up Date's reaction time, which is both hilarious and tactically brilliant. It's a high-stakes scene that showcases their chaotic but effective partnership. Date learns that the first victim, Shoko, was Renju's ex-wife and Mizuki's mother. The realization hits him hard as he left Mizuki alone after she saw her own mom's body. The emotional weight of the case becomes personal, driving him to apologize and make things right with the grieving girl. While interrogating Iris, Date notices she's acting suspiciously. Aiba, being the ultimate tech support, hacks into the room's cameras to get a better look without being obvious. It turns out Iris is hiding something under the desk, and they need a clever way to expose her without tipping her off. With Iris clearly hiding something crucial, the decision is made to sync with her. It's the only way to bypass her deception and see what's really going on in her mind. The team preps the machine for another dive, hoping to finally get to the bottom of her involvement in the case. The sync with Iris reveals some strange imagery, including a shadowy figure kissing Congressman Sajima. The team debates whether this reflects reality or is just a dream. It raises more questions than answers, blurring the line between memory and fantasy in the Somnium. Date wakes up after being knocked out by Ota, who then runs off with Iris. Aiba managed to record the whole incident, revealing that Mayumi, Ota's mom, called Iris a witch before he took her. The situation has spiraled out of control, and Date is left trying to catch up. The stakes skyrocket when the killer starts live streaming, showing Iris tied up in a cold storage warehouse. Aiba quickly traces the location, and Date rushes to the scene, desperate to save her before it's too late. It's a race against time, with the whole world potentially watching. Date arrives at the warehouse just in time to find Ota trying to protect Iris from the killer in a polar bear costume. After a brief struggle, the culprit escapes, but Iris is safe for now. The bizarre costume adds another layer of weirdness to an already twisted case. Date visits Mayumi again, who is looking at an old family photo and reminiscing. Aiba reveals a heartbreaking truth. The diner has been closed for 8 years, and Mayumi's dementia has her trapped in the past. She doesn't even realize her business is gone, adding a layer of tragedy to her character. Date confronts Congressman Sajima, who is incredibly evasive and arrogant. The politician denies everything and uses his legal knowledge to prevent a search. The interaction is frustrating, solidifying Sajima as a major antagonist who knows how to play the system to his advantage. Date finds Mizuki at a shrine and learns she got into a fight at school with bullies. Instead of intervening directly, he decides to train her, teaching her to be more confident and stand up for herself. It's a touching mentor-student moment that deepens their bond. At the hospital, Date questions Ota, who's recovering from surgery. Ota's behavior is super sketchy, and just as Date presses him for answers, he pulls a knife. It's a shocking turn that confirms Ota is hiding something major, forcing them to use sleeping gas to subdue him for a sync. Inside Ota's Somnium, the world is a dramatic, anime-inspired version of the warehouse incident. He sees himself as a hero saving Iris, Tessa, from the villain. It's a funny and insightful look into his mind, showing how he processes trauma through the lens of his favorite live-action dramas. Mayumi suddenly confesses to the crime, but her story is full of holes. Date realizes it's a false confession, likely an attempt to protect her son, Ota. The team decides the only way to get the real story is to sync with her, but the machine is conveniently down for repairs. Ota explains the root of his mother's dementia, recounting a time when her memory began to slip. He recalls a painful moment when she forgot he'd quit college, which led to an outburst from him. This backstory provides crucial context for her current mental state and her fierce desire to protect him. Following a hunch, Date and Aiba investigate Sosajima's office and find a strange vase. After smashing it open, they discover Sajima's dead body inside. This shocking discovery completely upends the investigation, proving that the person they've been chasing wasn't the real congressman. In Mayumi's Somnium, her diner is a distorted version of reality, reflecting her dementia. The goal is to help her remember key moments, specifically a cherished Mother's Day when Ota and her husband gave her a floral apron and knife. It's an emotional journey through her fragmented memories. After the sync, Mayumi's memory is restored, and she retracts her false confession. She explains that she followed Ota to the warehouse and saw the polar bear figure, panicking and assuming it was her son. It's a moment of clarity that finally frees her from the guilt of her fabricated story. Ota shares the full bittersweet story behind the Odoroki Man chocolate. It was tied to a fight he had with his mom, which led to his dad suggesting they buy her a special Mother's Day gift to make up. This memory is the key to understanding the deep, complicated love within their family. Aiba drops 2 bombshells. First, a video reveals Iris was holding the kitchen knife when she left the diner with Ota. Second, the autopsy of Renju's body found Shoko Nadami's eyeball in his intestines. These disturbing clues suggest a much darker and more twisted series of events than imagined. During a sync with Ota, Date pushes past the 6-minute time limit, desperate to see the killer's face. The team is forced to pull him out before his consciousness is lost. Ota later claims he didn't see the killer's face because he was stabbed right as he tried to unmask them. Date wakes up in Bloom Park with Mizuki, who found him after he passed out from brain overload. She shares painful memories of her parents, explaining that she felt like she killed them by being a difficult child. It's a raw, vulnerable moment that reveals the depth of her trauma. Date explains to Mizuki that her mother, Shoko, likely struggled to show affection because she was never shown any as a child. He reassures Mizuki that none of it was her fault, helping her to reframe her painful childhood and absolve herself of the guilt she's carried for so long. At the warehouse crime scene, Aiba analyzes a bloodstain and finds 2 different blood types, Ota's and an unknown person's. Date immediately realizes this unknown blood must belong to the culprit and orders the lab to prioritize the DNA analysis, hoping for a match that will break the case open. Date spots a suspicious person with a limp who turns out to be the real Sajima. The congressman's injury, combined with his lack of an alibi, makes him the prime suspect. However, Aiba warns that they still only have circumstantial evidence and need something more concrete to make an arrest. The DNA results are in. The blood from the warehouse is a perfect match to Sosajima's cigarette butt. They've found their polar bear. Just as Date is ready to make the arrest, Boss calls and shuts him down, revealing that Sajima is blackmailing the entire police force, making him untouchable, defying orders. Date goes after Sajima anyway, only to find a video message showing Mizuki has been kidnapped. The threat is clear. Back off, or she gets hurt. This forces Date into an impossible situation, torn between his duty and the safety of the girl he's sworn to protect. Arriving at Sajima's residence, Date is ambushed by a small army of guards. Just when it seems like he's cornered, Mizuki appears, ready to fight. It's a total surprise, and together they take on the thugs in a chaotic and epic showdown, proving she's more than capable of handling herself. Inside, Sajima holds Mizuki hostage, forcing Date into a tense standoff. Aiba devises a brilliant plan involving ricocheting a bullet off a metal pipe to disarm him without harming Mizuki. It's a high-risk, high-reward move that relies on perfect timing and precision to succeed. The man they've been fighting is revealed to not be So Sajima, but his son, Saito, who calls his own father pathetic before killing him. This shocking twist reveals the true villain of the story, a cold-blooded killer who has been manipulating events from the shadows all along. Date is shot in his artificial eye and falls into a coma. The team reveals that the only way to save him is for someone with high synchronization levels to sink into his brain and guide him back. Mizuki, being the most compatible, volunteers for the dangerous mission to save her father figure. Inside Date's mind, Mizuki finds a black and white version of her house, representing his guilt and sadness. She has to navigate this lonely landscape to find him and bring him back. It's an emotional and perilous journey into the heart of his consciousness, with only minutes to succeed. Mizuki successfully pulls Date back from the brink, and he wakes up in the real world. Their reunion is emotional and chaotic, with Mizuki immediately punching him for being so reckless. It's a perfect encapsulation of their weird, dysfunctional, but deeply loving found family dynamic. In a flashback sync, we see a traumatic scene from Mizuki's childhood. Her mother's abusive words echo as Iris appears frozen, symbolizing a moment of deep emotional pain. The memory reveals the source of her trauma and explains why she was rendered mute earlier in the story. The sync experience leaves Mizuki still traumatized, as her core issues haven't been resolved. In the present, Date calls Iris to make sure she's safe, making a deal to go on a date with her in exchange for her staying home. It's a small, slightly comedic moment in the midst of heavy emotional stakes. Hitomi, Iris's mom, reveals she's also Mizuki's homeroom teacher. She explains how she helped Mizuki regain her voice simply by holding her and letting her cry it out. This connection between the families deepens the mystery, showing how interconnected all the characters truly are. The investigation reveals that the phone found at the crime scene belonged to Shoko. The last call was made after her death from a burner phone, suggesting the caller wasn't the murderer, but was trying to lead someone, likely Mizuki, to the body. The mystery of the caller becomes a new focus. At a maid cafe, Date runs into Ota, who's a regular customer. Ota reveals that the cafe was supposed to be rented out for a private party the night of the murder, but it never happened. This small detail provides a new lead and confirms Renju was planning something secretive. Ota shows Date a recording of Iris's last live stream, where she abruptly ends the stream at 2 a.m. after someone comes to her door. Her sudden disappearance is extremely worrying, and now Ota, Date, and her friends from the maid cafe are all trying to figure out where she went. Date learns that Hitomi became Mizuki's teacher intentionally, as Renju moved his family into her school district 5 years ago. This wasn't a coincidence, but a deliberate act, suggesting Renju wanted someone he trusted to look after his daughter, hinting at the turmoil within his family. Mizuki confirms that she was lured to Bloom Park by a text from her father's phone. She arrived to find her mother's body with an ice pick in her eye, and in a state of shock, she pulled it out. This testimony clarifies her role in the crime scene and clears her of any suspicion. Date learns from an old acquaintance that Shoko was involved in a massive fraud scheme connected to the Kumakura Yakuza gang. This opens up a new theory. Perhaps Shoko was killed by the Yakuza as punishment for crossing them, shifting the focus of the investigation toward organized crime. Date's attempt to question the Kumakura gang is met with immediate hostility. The tense standoff quickly escalates, forcing him to pull his badge to de-escalate the situation. It's clear the Yakuza are not willing to cooperate and are hiding something significant about the murders. In a shocking turn of events, Date returns to the warehouse and finds what appears to be Iris's dead body. The discovery is horrifying and seems to confirm his worst fears. This moment serves as a major cliffhanger, leaving the state of Iris and the identity of the killer in question. Date syncs with the man he believes is So Sajima, entering a bizarre dreamscape of corrupt, looping imagery. Inside, he sees a manifestation of Iris about to be crushed by a giant block, representing a past trauma. It's a surreal and dangerous environment where time itself is unstable. After saving Iris in the Somnium, Date gets a call from the investigation team. There's no body at the warehouse. He rushes to Iris's house to find her alive and well. This impossible event suggests that his actions in the dream world might be altering reality itself. The real So Seijima reveals a dark past working for the Kumakura gang, where he witnessed countless murders disguised as accidents. He was a lookout for a scam that targeted elderly people for their land. This confession exposes the deep-rooted corruption he's been a part of. At the diner, Iris, Tisa, puts on an impromptu performance of her song Invincible Rainbow Arrow. It's a fun, energetic moment that brings a bit of lightheartedness to the grim investigation. The performance showcases her talent and explains why she has such a dedicated online following. Iris finally confronts Date about his talk of saving her in a dream. He explains the existence of Abyss and the Sync machine, which allows him to enter the subconscious dream worlds of suspects. This revelation about the secret technology is a huge mind-bender for her. Date syncs with Iris again, this time entering a world based on her favorite game, Shovel Forge. It's a blocky, sandbox-style universe where she appears as her streamer persona, Tisa, a manifestation of her begs for help, indicating she's in danger even within her own mind. Date meets with Moma, a Yakuza boss, who gives him a GPS tracker to put on Iris for her protection. Moma reveals he's a fan of Tisa and is genuinely concerned for her safety. It's an unexpected alliance showing that even hardened criminals have a soft spot for the streamer. Iris is kidnapped and her phone's GPS is turned off. Date, in a panic, calls Moma, who uses the secret tracker to locate her at the Aokura Harbor warehouse. It's the same location where Date previously saw her supposed dead body, making the situation even more ominous and strange. At the harbor, Date, Moma, Mizuki, and Ota form an unlikely team to rescue Iris. United by their shared goal of protecting Tisa, this ragtag group of a detective, a Yakuza boss, and 2 teenagers prepares for an all-out assault against the kidnappers in a truly epic moment. The rescue mission culminates in Mizuki single-handedly taking down a tank with her superhuman strength. It's an absolutely wild and over-the-top action sequence that solidifies her as a total powerhouse. The team successfully saves Iris, with Mizuki proving to be their ultimate secret weapon. Renju attempts to use a stolen prototype sync machine on Iris, causing her vitals to crash. Date realizes her brain is failing, and the only way to save her is to use the same machine to dive into her mind and fix whatever is wrong. It's a desperate gamble with only minutes to spare. After another successful sync, Iris wakes up, but it's a bittersweet moment. She knows she's dying and confesses her feelings for Date, wishing they had more time together. In her final moments, she has a flashback to a memory with her uncle, revealing a key figure from her past. Iris dies in Date's arms. The devastating loss hits him hard, and the screen fades to black, leaving her story on a tragic note. However, given the reality-bending nature of the syncs, it raises the question of whether this death is truly the definitive end for her character. Date is suddenly arrested for murder, with Boss herself leading the charge. It's a shocking betrayal that makes no sense. The situation quickly escalates, and Date is forced to use a firebomb bullet to create a dust explosion as a distraction to escape from his own colleagues. During a sync with Boss, Date discovers the truth. The new Cyclops serial killings were a series of interconnected murders, each committed by a different person. Shoko was killed by Renju, Renju by Iris, Iris by So, and So by Boss. There's a single mastermind pulling all the strings. The mastermind is revealed to be Saito Sejima, who has been body swapping with people using the sync machine. He taunts Date through a live stream, offering to reveal Boss's location in exchange for his original body back. It's the ultimate twist, explaining all the bizarre events. Date confronts Hitomi, who confesses her entire plan. Iris isn't her biological daughter, but the child of her deceased friend, Monica, and So Sejima. Iris has a brain tumor, and Hitomi blackmailed So with Monica's body to get money for the expensive treatment, setting the entire plot in motion. Date is left reeling from the revelations while the police force tries to shut down the investigation to protect So Sejima. His own agency turns against him, and he's placed under house arrest. In a desperate move, he escapes to continue the investigation on his own terms. Hitomi recounts the events of 18 years ago when her friend Monica was murdered by a young Saito Sejima. She and Renju found the body and hid it in the cold storage warehouse to protect Monica's newborn baby Iris from being found and killed by the ruthless Kumakura gang. Raising Iris as her own, Hitomi cherished every moment, but her world shattered when Iris was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Desperate for money for an experimental cure, she devised the plan to blackmail So Sejima, unknowingly setting off a chain reaction that reignited the 18-year-old conflict. Aiba's memory is being wiped remotely by Pewter, who is acting on orders from the higher-ups to neutralize Date as a threat. Aiba has only 4 hours before her core programming is destroyed, creating a ticking clock for Date to solve the case and save Iris before he loses his partner forever. The final confrontation with Saito reveals the full extent of his body swapping. He was originally in Renju's body, then swapped with a man named Rohan, and has been manipulating everyone. He reveals that Date's current body was originally his own, and he wants it back. The truth about Date's identity is revealed. He is Hayato Yagyu, a former police officer and assassin known as Falco. 6 years ago, he switched bodies with the real Saito Sejima, then known as Rohan, to protect Hitomi and Iris. But the swap went wrong, leaving him with amnesia. Saito forces Date to swap bodies, reclaiming his original form and leaving Date trapped in the body of a notorious criminal. Now in control, Saito prepares to kill Hitomi and Iris, forcing Date to watch helplessly as the villain he's been hunting finally gets everything he wants. The full backstory of the body swap is explained. 6 years ago, Boss helped Date, as Falco, switch bodies with Rohan Kumakura to protect Hitomi and Iris. However, the plan was sabotaged by Saito, who took over Rohan's body, leaving Date's original consciousness trapped and amnesiac. Saito, now in a new body, used the prototype sync machine to continue his reign of terror, orchestrating the Cyclops' killings. He manipulated everyone, including the amnesiac Date, who was given a new identity and a new life at Abyss by Boss to keep him safe and his past hidden. In the final standoff, Ota arrives to help, having been contacted by Aiba. He takes a bullet for Date, giving him the chance to save Hitomi and Iris. It's a heroic act of redemption for Ota, who risks his life to protect the people he cares about from the true villain. Trapped and with no other options, Aiba initiates her self-destruct sequence to stop Saito. In a heartbreaking final moment, Date tells her he hates her, which is the secret second command they agreed upon. Aiba understands and sacrifices herself, ending the threat once and for all. 3 months later, everyone is healing. Iris's surgery was a success, paid for by Boss, and she's back to her cheerful self. Date is now in his original body as Falco, and though he looks different, Iris reassures him that he'll always be her uncle, showing their bond transcends appearances. Boss explains that Aiba was no ordinary AI. She had a Wadjet system that allowed her to understand Date on a soul level, which is why she obeyed his final command, even though he was in a different body. It's revealed that fragments of her data were being saved to the cloud all along. In a surprise orchestrated by Boss, Iris, and Pewter, Aiba is restored. She appears as an augmented reality projection from Date's new prosthetic eye. Her favorite number, 41205, is revealed to be a code for DATE. Their reunion is emotional and a perfect, happy ending for the partners. The story concludes with a massive, joyous dance number led by Iris and Aiba. Everyone joins in, celebrating their victory and their found family. It's a vibrant, hopeful finale that wraps up all the loose ends and leaves the characters in a much better place than where they started.